gentlemen, my name is Kevin Jeckwitz. This is the Kaged Review. This is my continuing series for the MCU and DCEU movies. And following what is going to the review of the worst movie in this series, you have one of the best movies in this series. I was absolutely excited for the Avengers. Everybody was. This is something that really hadn't been done before. You have all these introduction character movies for Marvel. You had Iron Man, Iron Man 2, you had the Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and it all led to the sixth movie, the Avengers. So if this movie bombed, it was all for naught. Thankfully, they did an amazing job, and thank God they picked Joss Whedon for this to direct, because Joss Whedon is a fanboy, and you have to have that, and we've seen what it's like when you get somebody who doesn't care about the material making a movie. So you have all the returning characters, and I'll just run them down real quick so we can get past that. Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark, Iron Man. Chris Evans is Steve Rogers, Captain America. Chris Hemsworth is Thor. Mark Ruffalo comes in as Bruce Banner, the Incredible Hulk. And I loved Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. He really does come across as this kind of nerdy, very intelligent guy on screen. You believe that he could be somebody who has been a scientist or something. And also the fact that he did all the mocap for the Hulk, and you could kind of see the resemblance of his face in the Incredible Hulk, really lent more believability to the character. And I really love that. So you have Scarlett Johansson comes back as Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. Jeremy Renner gets his first real big part here as Cliff Barton, Hawkeye. Samuel L. Jackson comes back as Nick Fury. Clark Gregg comes back as Agent Phil Coulson. You have Colby Smulders introducing the character of Agent Maria Hill. This is the first time you've had Maria Hill in the movies. And then you have Maximiliano Hernandez coming back as Agent Sitwell too, and I keep bringing his name up because he does become important in later Marvel movies. So a key point there. So, you have Tom Hiddleston playing Loki. Loki, I've already said, Tom Hiddleston is an amazing actor. He is phenomenal at bringing a very human element to these larger-than-life characters. And so, Loki, he's still pissed off at Thor. He still feels jaded. You know, he found out that he's not really an Asgardian. And he's very bitter. And so he wants to take out his slights on the Earth. And so he comes to Earth, and he wants to grab the Tesseract, which is being held at a S.H.I.E.L.D. facility. So he gets teleported to this facility. He takes the Tesseract. Of course, Nick Fury is there. He takes control of a couple people, one being Hawkeye. The other is Dr. Eric Selvig, played by Stellan Skarsgård, who is a scientist, and he needs that scientist to help him out. And so Nick Fury, he's like, okay, we're at war now. Obviously, things just changed. And so he gets all the Avengers together. He's like, okay, we need these guys now. So you see everybody getting recruited. You have Natasha Romanoff going to get Bruce Banner, who is hiding away in somewhere in South America. And Agent Coulson has to go get Iron Man. And so you see everybody getting recruited, and they all come to this helicarrier. It's an aircraft carrier that flies. Kind of cool. And the big thing here is they want Bruce Banner to, since he's so good with gamma radiation, he's so familiar with it, they want to use Bruce Banner to try to find the Tesseract because it emits gamma radiation. And so that's kind of the basis of why they're bringing the Hulk on this ship. So while this is going on, you have Loki, who decides to make a very public attack. And so I think it was somewhere in Germany. And so the Avengers see this, they go and get him, and they capture him. It was a pretty cool fight scene there. But the thing is, Loki wants to be captured. It's all a setup. And so the whole concept is he wants to unleash the Hulk with the gamma radiation, and he wants to try to kill his brother Thor with this contraption they use to contain the Hulk. So you have a very cool fight scene where Hawkeye dismantles one of the propellers and this helicarrier. You have 4 propellers. If 2 go, the thing starts to fall. So they have to fix this propeller, and it was cool, man, because you had some like engineering stuff going on there, but you also had a really cool fight scene. The gamma radiation finally turns Bruce Banner into the Hulk, and so he starts wreaking havoc throughout the helicarrier. And then Thor and Hulk have this really cool fight on the helicarrier. Like, it was awesome the way they did it. And it's funny because, like, you wouldn't think fixing a plane would be that interesting, but they really made it very, very cool. So at the end of the day, the Hulk, he's wrecking shop. There's a plane that they get to go outside and shoot at the Hulk just to try to get his attention. Hulk jumps out onto that plane, starts destroying the plane. The pilot ejects. He catches the pilot and throws him. Thought that was a great touch. But then the Hulk just falls to Earth. So he's out of the picture now. Thor goes after Loki. This big contraption that they had Loki contained in is now open. Thor charges, and it's a hologram of Loki. Loki can perform holograms. So Thor winds up trapping himself inside this contraption that has these locks that let go, and it just falls to Earth, and so that's how he tries to kill Thor. So the Avengers get disbanded. They've had their first loss. They're all dejected. And Loki decides that, he's going to take his fight to the world now. And so he gets on top of Stark Tower because he wants to be seen doing this. And he tries to open a portal to let this alien race called the Chitauri into Earth. And that's his plan, is the Chitauri are going to help him win Earth. And let me rephrase that. Loki's going to help the Chitauri win Earth, and in return, he gets the Tesseract. So that's kind of the scenario. And then the build up there is the Avengers get back together, and there's this epic fight scene that probably takes the last 30 minutes of the movie. And it was ridiculously phenomenal in every way that a fight scene can be. There was action all over the place, and it all looked really, really good. And one thing I really, really loved about this movie is that for the most part, they did a great job of balancing all the characters. Now, obviously, some characters got more screen time than others. That's just the way it goes. But, they really gave everybody a moment. And I thought that was very, very cool. Also, just like I talked about with the Thor review, when you're dealing with Tom Hiddleston and even Chris Hemsworth, you're dealing with really good actors that really sell the emotion, the pain, the pleasure, the humor, the whatever it is that they're trying to sell, they sell all the way. And they, again, bring that very human element to this. You have the connection of the brothers of Thor and Loki. Just phenomenal. So, at the end of the day, S.H.I.E.L.D. decide that they are going to send a nuke to New York City and just deal with the problem by blowing it all up. So, Robert Downey Jr., he gets that call that there's a rocket flying to New York. He decides that he's going to grab this rocket and shoot it straight up into this wormhole. And so that's what happens. He goes in, grabs the rocket, forces it up through the wormhole. He hits the Chitauri main control center, whatever you want to call it. And apparently it just controls all the Chitauri because they all drop at the same time. And then he falls back to Earth. Of course, he's unconscious. And there was a great moment there where the Hulk, they're all trying to wake Tony up. And then the Hulk just screams and wakes Tony up. It was really, really funny. The movie had a lot of humor, and the Hulk was a big part of a lot of that humor. One example is there was this like big monstrous alien creature that is a monster, but also a transport that carries other Chitauri. And so the Hulk and Thor take this thing down together. It falls to Earth, and they're standing there, and then just all of a sudden, the Hulk punches Thor off screen. And it was really quick, and Thor goes flying. And I saw this in the theater, and every single person just bust out laughing. It was hilarious. It really was. And they gave the Hulk a lot of moments like that. The scream to wake up Tony Stark, punching Thor. A lot of good stuff, man. A lot of really good stuff. Another really cool scene that I really loved earlier on in the movie was when they captured Loki, when Captain America and Iron Man were the ones who captured him. They got him in this plane, and then Thor comes down, comes into the plane, grabs Loki, and of course, Iron Man and Captain America don't know who Thor is yet. So there's this big fight sequence between Thor and Iron Man, and that was absolutely spectacular. Really, really well done. Obviously, there was a lot of money that went into this movie because it was long, and the special effects and the CGI were all top notch all the way through. Nothing looked bad. It was an amazing, amazing accomplishment. It really was. So the Avengers movie, I was very, very, very happy with. I don't know that they could have done a better job with it. It was a fun thrill ride beginning to end that made you laugh out loud so many times. And that became kind of a standard for Marvel. So I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It was very solid. It wasn't perfect, but it was damn close. It was really damn close. It was at least an A, if not an A plus. Call it what you want. 9, maybe a 10. It might, I don't know, dude. It might be a 10. I struggle with that one. I'll give it a 9.5. We'll leave it there. 9.5 out of 10. It was that damn good. It really was. It was amazing. So ladies and gentlemen, that's my review of The Avengers. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz. Kaged Nation, out.